your ruler, sold. Your lands, your possessions, your very lives will gladly be given in tribute to me.
What's up, guys? I'm gonna try my best to keep my thoughts organized in this video so I'm not too all over the place for you guys, because so not last week, but the end of the week before last, on the 21st, the end of the trading day, 21st, was supposed to be the stock split dividend, and what GameStop themselves said at the end of the 21st trading day, it would be the dividend shares would be distributed, and then you would have them, and then the 22nd the market would react, adjust, right? So if you remember, a whole bunch of people, really smart people, said not only did they speculate, but they also double checked with brokers and confirmed that the price doesn't automatically just get changed. The market reacts, and then the price goes down naturally from the excess shares, right? So there was a very real possibility that if enough people were holding, that the price would just stay put at 150-ish, right? It was around 150, right? So there was a possibility the price would just stay put. It was up to the market, the supply and demand side, to push the price down from 4 times the shares, right? But everyone's holding, so there's not going to be any sell side supply accessing the demand to push the price down. So that's why the people thought that there was a chance that the price would just stay put and not automatically go down. But anyways, the first people that saw their shares show up was some people and brokers, which didn't make any sense, because why would some people see their dividend shares show up in brokers before the people in computer share that are DRS? The computer share people should have seen their split dividend shares show up first, right? But they didn't. Brokers did. Why? Because brokers, well, I'll get to that later, but you know, brokers just press a button times 4, right? So anyways, so a lot of people got their dividend shares. Some people didn't. I don't know the percentages on the people that didn't, but a lot didn't. But they said from checking around different brokers, and they said that, oh, well, your shares will be settled and show up by the end of the next trading week, which would be the 29th. So by Friday the 29th, your stock dividend shares should show up, right? And some people, their shares did show up in 2 settlement days on Tuesday, and then other people, Damon, lay down. Lay down, Damon. Lay down. Piss me off. Lay down. And then other people, waited to the end of the week, and they didn't see anything show up, right? And then over the weekend, well, Friday, Saturday, this past weekend, Friday, people in Europe that got their dividend shares when they were supposed to the week prior, on the 21st and 22nd, all of a sudden their shares disappeared. Right? They just disappeared. They're like, what the heck? What happened to my shares? This makes no sense. They just vanished, right? The price is still 75% down, and then they just lost 3/4 of their their stock. So they're like, what the fuck, you know? So so now people are checking around, and apparently what's going on with the reason the overseas apes and the reason some people here as well have not received their dividend shares, and why there's so much confusion going on, is because apparently the DTCC, if you don't know what the DTCC is, that's the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, lied to the brokers and told the brokers to treat this as a regular stock split when it was supposed to be a stock split as a dividend. The difference is hold on, let me jump into this. Sorry, my dog is being needy as fuck right now. Being a pain in the ass at my feet. And anyways, you would think he would have the sense to just leave me alone while I'm trying to make this video, but apparently not. So, okay, so did I change scene? Let me see. The difference is, let's say this is one share, right? Let's say this is one share. A regular stock split, every one share just gets split into 4 shares, right? Well, depending on the ratio, but the ratio this time is 4 to 1. So every one share gets split into 4 shares. But a stock split as a dividend doesn't work that way. A stock split as a dividend, how that works is the company, GameStop, Huskies are buttheads. You're a butthead. You're a butthead. Alright, GameStop first gives DRS. Now they only have a limited supply because they're only giving a dividend split by a certain ratio. So they're not just going to give however many the DTCC says they need. They're just going to give a certain amount, and here you go, sort it out, right? So GameStop gives the necessary amount of shares to times 4 everyone's position, gives to ComputerShare, right? Then after the DRS people get their stock dividend, the remaining is handed over to the DTCC. And then the DTCC sends, the DTCC divvies it up and sends the divvied up shares to all the brokers. You're a good boy. I love you, Damien, but now's not the time to be at my feet, licking my feet, demanding my attention. Alright? You butthead. You're distracting me. Like, I love you too, but you're distracting me. I need to... These people want me to have coherent thoughts, so this video is not like a half an hour. So, so the DTCC divvies it up, decides what brokers get what amount, and then the brokers have to use what the DTCC gave them to make sure that all of the positions are given the necessary amount of shares so that everyone has times 4 of their shares. They didn't do that though. The DTCC, instead of doing this, lied to the brokers and said just treat it as a traditional stock split, and instead of giving everyone an extra 1, 2, 3 shares for every one of their shares they already had, instead, by treating it as a traditional stock split, all they had to do was press a button in their computer and times 4 everyone's position like that, right? So they didn't have to make sure that what was given to them by GameStop was properly divvied up, because they couldn't divvy it up. They couldn't divvy it up because there wasn't enough to go around for all the phantom shares. So they just said, hey, we'll just tell all the brokers to treat it as a traditional stock split, and they're just gonna divide everyone's shares into 4, and that'll times 4 everyone's position, instead of giving them the 3 extra, right? So GameStop specifically said stock split issued as a dividend, and DTCC as a dividend would be this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Traditional stock split, not as a dividend, is just this: 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And that's what they did. So that way they could just do it and not have to locate the shares that everyone needs, because they didn't receive enough from GameStop to go around, because computer share DRS got first priority, and the amount that they were given to split up amongst the brokers wasn't enough, and they knew it wasn't going to be enough. That's why they lied to the brokers and told them to treat it as a traditional stock split. But anyways, so where do we go from here? Hopefully that wasn't too convoluted or too ranty or too distracted by my husky dog Damon. But anyways, where do we go from here? Well, in the filing to the SEC that Ryan Cohen and GameStop already said, they said that if I don't remember the exact wordings, but now apparently Ryan Cohen has probable cause to remove the company from the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation and reissue the stock. So I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how this all works. But somebody's in trouble. Somebody's in trouble, and you know, it's theorized that GameStop is gonna have a decentralized stock exchange that they're gonna reissue the company's shares on, but there's no confirmation on that, so I don't know. But we do know that they said in a filing to the SEC that if they were wronged, then GameStop could withdraw their shares from the DTCC, and I think that's the next step, but I don't know. And we haven't finished seeing the chaos of the stock dividend playing out either. So we haven't seen, you know, what happens now. Like, do these brokers scramble for shares to locate shares now that everyone's realizing, or now that people's shares, do they go into the market and buy the shares on the open market, and the price goes up? I mean, we don't know what's happening, and so we're gonna have to watch this play out over the following weeks, but what I would recommend for everyone to do, and I'm gonna admit I'm guilty of this. I'm guilty of this, of not doing what I need to do. I'm a procrastinator, right? DRS some of your shares. You don't have to DRS all your shares if you don't want to. It's probably probably better that you don't anyways, because limit sells are apparently limited on computer share, and market selling is bad. You don't want to market sell. Market sell hurts the moass. But take some of your shares, you decide on the percentage, and DRS them. Whether it's half, whether it's 75%, whether it's 100%. Take your shares and do it now, right? Do it now. I'm not saying your shares aren't safe on a broker, but for some they weren't. Like apes are getting screwed right now by their brokers. But just do it. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna fearmonger and say that they can just delete everyone's shares off brokers, because that's fear mongering. That's FUD. That's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Because like that cancels out the whole moass thesis. You can't. If you can just delete everyone's shares from all the brokers, then that cancels out the whole moass thesis, because then there's no phantoms floating around. So I hate it when people say that nonsense. But you should DRS, because it does two things. It speeds this whole thing up. It requires them to find actual shares and send them over to computer and it changes some of those IOUs into real shares, which then makes it even more difficult for them to kick this can. That's what it does, right? That's what it does. But if you don't DRS, you're fine. Like you're still gonna get moass. But what I'm saying is the broker still owes you whatever your shares are supposed to be worth. That's where the whole moass thesis comes from. All the phantoms being forced bought back. But anyways, I'm just saying, I felt extra pressure this weekend from the German apes and the European apes getting screwed over, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna DRS some of my shares, and because I was procrastinating it, because but yeah, I don't know, I don't have much else to say, but I'm still torn on that. I believe that people should. I'm not torn on DRS. I definitely believe people should DRS, but I just don't like it when people fearmonger and say that they can delete that anyone's shares that remain on brokers can be deleted, because then that cancels out the whole moass thesis. Because if everyone's shares deleted who's not in computer share, then the only shares remaining are the ones in computer share, and all the phantoms that need to be forced closed and bought back. Where's the forced buying come from? Because all the other shares were deleted. All that leaves is the real shares in computer share. And they'll just, it's I don't like it when people spread misinformation like that. But DRS is good because it reduces the free float. It forces IOUs to become real shares. And yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. I guess we'll just continue on this journey and see what happens. And I knew I was gonna end up ranting in this video, but so be it. Whatever. Oh yeah, speaking of, when I was DRSing today, the broker tried to tell me, Damon, lay down, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you are a pain in the ass. The broker tried to tell me, he's like, you know? God. He's a husky, so he's like very stubborn. He's very, very stubborn. When I was DRSing, and the broker's like, confirm that you want to DRS this amount of shares, and I was like, confirm. And then he tried to tell me 3 to 6 weeks, and I was like, wait a minute, no. It doesn't take 3 to 6 weeks. It shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take 3 to 6 weeks. Let me talk, because that's not by law. By law, it shouldn't take that long, 3 to 6 weeks. And he's like, oh, we have a long queue. We have a long queue. And I'm like, no. Let me speak to your compliance officer. And he's like, well, you can't speak to the compliance officer. There's no way you'd get to be able to speak to him today because he's busy, right? Or they're busy. And I'm like, well, it doesn't take 3 to 6 weeks. That's not by the law. Just because you have a long queue doesn't allow you to just say, oh, well, the law doesn't apply anymore because we have a long queue. No, then it becomes your responsibility, E-Trade, to hire more people so that way you don't have a long queue. So that way you can still meet the requirements of the law. And then he's like, let me go speak to my supervisor. And I'm like, I just want to be clear. I'm not mad at you, but I'm mad at whoever said it's going to be 3 to 6 weeks, because that's not by the law. And they went and spoke to their supervisor and came back, and they changed it from 3 to 6 weeks, and they said 5 to 10 days. And I was like, that's still not as quick as it's supposed to be by law, but I didn't say anything. I was like, you know. But anyways, I hope it just goes through and I don't have to deal with that bullshit. And again, because I had to spend an hour on the phone just on hold just to get to that call. But anyways, I'm gonna end the video there. Butthead is distracting the shit out of me. Yeah, so anyways, thanks for watching this video. Peace out.